Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm once again joined by Maryland.
Hey guys.
Hey! Okay, so it's turn 16,
Yes, I believe that's where we should be.
and basically what's happening right now is Pythium and Mictlan are getting trounced. And
Yeah.
Naba, I think we had the start of a war with Naba last turn, right? Or was that coming
Yes.
up?
Last turn was the invasion by three nations onto Naba,
Right.
and Naba is in desperate straits.
Right. Okay, so we're going to start with Pythium, though, because they're the first to send us a message. So Pythium here got most of the gear for the Emperor and the gems for the empowerment ready. Just need a few more key researches up and wait for the last gear to come in, and the Divine Emperor will be ready to kick ass. Now let's just hope he doesn't die in his first battle.
Well, not bad because we saw if you remember last episode, we saw that he got some of those gems because we saw some of the other nations sending him a handful of gems.
Right,
Like
right.
trading.
And, it just goes to show, like, if you have gems left over that you might have death basketed somebody, like, did you think about empowering your god that was a rainbow so that he could thug better? You know? You might not have. So there's all sorts of things you can do to spend your gems before you die. And Pythium is just going to
Absolutely.
show.
So not spending your gems before you die is a failure in my view. At least
Yeah.
do your best.
I mean, you can
You know,
empower, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of empowerment except for certain cross-pass forging,
Yeah.
but in this case,
Yeah.
absolutely. If
Yeah.
you're
But
if
I
you're all
mean,
but dead,
yeah, you have no research, you can still empower. You can always, that is one way you always have to spend your gems. It may not be a great efficient way, but
you brought up, you and I had a private discussion not related to this, but if you're under astral corruption, empowerment is not
well,
affected.
you're right. It's great under astral corruption.
Exactly. So,
Okay, so we need to find these guys. It's hard to search out for the Pythium flags now, but I found them, Maryland.
oh, he made a counterattack. Well, look at that.
So he raided out with some Retarii.
Not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, put some pressure on the map.
Exactly.
Uh,
Like this is a bit of an initiative kind of thing. Um, he can't beat, 15 Vanherses or Vans,
right.
but he can at least throw something in behind. I talked about in previous episodes, dirty tricks like a black servant with a talisman,
Yeah.
just to throw people off. You're not going to win doing it. It's just, keep them
Yeah.
busy.
Anytime you can exert some rating pressure, okay, not anytime. Lots of times when you can exert some rating pressure at low cost, it's good.
And the low cost is a key factor here.
Right. Okay. There's actually not too much to look at here. His god is, I think, inside his capital, getting ready to come out. He's going to thug out his divine emperor, and he's got.
Yeah.
I think he said a fluff or two. He empowered an heir or something, but.
Oh God, you use that word? I hate that word.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's just because of it's just a generational thing.
Yeah.
To be a fluffer is the girl in the porn movie. So.
Oh yeah, no, that is where it comes from. There's no. Yeah, but I mean that they're getting the super combatant ready for action. Is the thing.
No, and it's a good call. I mean, he's gonna fight to the last everything he's got. So I like to see that. It's nice to see somebody,
Yeah.
Well, I would expect that in this tournament that
And
people
this-
are going to make. Go ahead.
Oh, this player is pretty well known in the community too. Like most people who play multiplayer Dominions are going to know Joe Brandon. So
Oh yeah,
it's we
Joe's been
we just
together
saw how these
tonight.
things stacked up. He had he had interesting expansion to start with, and had some kind of weird expansion ideas. Then had that bump fail, and then before he knew it, Xibalba just attacked him out of the blue, and he was trying to deal with that while trying to expand. And then the elves jump on him, and he just never got his feet under him. So, Okay, next up we have Om. Dear Almighty Lord, my prayers have been answered. I think this means he got an air random. You remember he kept saying he wasn't getting an air random, and it's turn 16 he's got his first one. Where are the All Mights? I think they're over here. But not anything happening though. I think he's just chilling out. He's site searching. Did that Lucy Maryland? Oh no!
No,
okay.
I was pouring some pop, and it's kind of gurgly, and I turned off my mic for a sec.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Cool. Yeah, so nothing's happening with Ulm. I think we're just going to move on. You get very little screen time if you're very boring. Next up, a message from Bandar Log. With our throne mission accomplished, we now turn to the chaos brewing outside our lands. We're not expecting nations to fall this early. Well, we were not expecting nations to fall this early. We are now forced to intervene in the international affairs much earlier than we would like. See, there's much earlier than we would like business.
He's kind of implying that he wanted a mid-game push.
Right.
And now he's stuck. He's going to have to either act or fall behind.
Right. And that is very consistent. Like what he's saying here, much earlier than we would like, is extremely consistent with everything I've been saying about the player and then the moves he's been making so far.
Like, he's been playing, like you said, greedy.
Not getting ready for an early war.
No, because he didn't keep his tiger recruitment at max,
right?
Which I think was an error.
Yeah.
And we saw no white ones.
Right.
If he was intending to, exert his power in the early-ish mid, he kind of lost his chance.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good assessment. Okay, Naba is being like 3v1 by Ashdod, Agartha, Pan. Pythium is getting his cap sieged by Xibalba. After his lands were eaten by Van. And finally, our dear neighbor Mictlan is falling to hordes of mixed Jotun armies.
He's a little bit wrong there because Van only ate about half of Pythium's lands.
Right.
Zib ate the other half.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Not one of these conflicts was an honorable 1v1.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Why would you?
I like 1v1s. Well, no, there was. I lied. It was Mictlan and Jotunheim.
And Zib attacked without support early.
That's true. Vanheim jumped on the wagon.
Exactly.
Okay. And, of the 3 conflicts, we decided to intervene in the last with the help of our trusted ally, Vanarus.
So I believe he means jumping on Mictlan.
Well, Jotunheim. Right? Because Mictlan's basically dead now.
Oh, he's going to attack Jotun.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what this means in a second.
Okay.
We also reached out to Ulm to solidify our peaceful borders with a NAP 3 so we can concentrate elsewhere. Surprised to see so much aggression this early. So I don't know if he's gotten a NAP with Ulm yet. It doesn't sound like it. Surprised to see so much aggression this early. I assumed it would not be attempted due to the threat of a competent coalition. I guess if nations are aggressive, there may not be enough members left for adequate coalition. Well, the other thing, too, I think about, because most of these nations are not doing 1v1s, they're doing like 2v1s, they're pretty low commitment attacks. They're doing like a 2v1 against a weaker nation in 2 of the cases, versus...
I would argue that his diplomatic assessment is a little bit flawed here. I personally reach out to everybody I meet and sort of test the waters. You want to kind of get a feel for each of your opponents that are on your border. And if they are kind of indicating they're looking towards grouping up, you want to jump in on that quick. I think he missed something here on his Diplo.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. And I don't think higher skill games are necessarily less aggressive. I think the thing with higher skill games is higher skill players are going to take advantage of opportunities they see. So,
absolutely.
If like everybody who's wins a lot of games will have a predator instinct, and when they see a wounded animal, they're going to go in for the kill. So I think that's some of what's happening.
There's a bit of a complex analysis involved there. You have to decide if if you're going to make yourself a target by looking too big. But on the other hand, being too small makes you a target. So it's a tough analysis.
Well, I think it's actually, we can make it a little simpler. We can just say, do you look like you can defend well the land you have? Right? So if you're big, but you look like you're capable of defense, that's one thing. So like we haven't heard anybody talking about like, man, I really want to go after size Pangaea because he's big. Thought hasn't even crossed anybody's mind because everybody thinks that Sai with his white centaur are going to be able to defend their land pretty darn well. But Naba, who was big but was being very greedy and had full scales, which means he didn't have a god awake, everybody was talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
and people tend to talk about Naba, and I've heard this fairly regularly, but go ahead. Keep going.
No, that's it. My piece is done.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Okay, well, let's look at Bandar Log then. Okay, so he was saying he wants to get involved in this conflict up here with Vanarus as an ally.
So how?
Okay, so these maps are 4 tall and 4 wide. And so his southern neighbor is Vanarus. And because Mictlan has eaten his way south, because Jotunheim has eaten his way south to Mictlan, these guys can both attack from the north and the south onto Jotunheim.
Yeah, see, I think Bandar missed his chance. I think his chance was 3-4 turns ago.
Oh, to vulture? Yeah.
Well, do something, because he's got that, what he's got for tigers is all sitting there in that throne.
Yeah.
And that's the only tigers he's got. If you look at his capital, he probably hasn't built any more tigers.
Yeah. Royal Swordsman? I don't know about this at all. We were going on and on about it. He has no armies, though.
Exactly. So what's he going to do?
I don't know. The problem, too, this is one of the reasons, like, if you think about it, like, if you start playing a couple moves ahead, he hasn't built armies, so now he's thinking, and the other people are eating, now he's thinking, okay, I need to do something. He's not the best impulse in these kind of games is to act at least significantly out of greed. Like, every time you're making a decision, and every time I make a decision in Dominions based out of fear, it's normally not a great decision.
Well, that comes to the whole idea of initiative.
Right.
I like to drop back to initiative in the strategic level, is that you want to kind of maintain the initiative if you can. So keep your opponents off balance, appear like, it's not the easiest thing to describe. I'm not sure how else you can describe it, but I think Bandar has lost the initiative in this game.
Right. And let's play this forward a few turns. If he's going to be successful and let's say push into what was Mictlan and is soon to be Jotunheim, if he's going to push in, what percent of his army do you think he's going to need to bring?
100.
100.
Like every goddamn bit of it.
Every goddamn troop he's ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the problem with that?
He's bait for somebody to look at him and go, I'm coming at you.
Right. He's protected only by a piece of paper in the case that he's even able to secure a non-aggression pact with all his neighbors. Like, he's completely naked on the flank.
And I mean, you and I sort of disagree on, not disagree, but we look at non-aggression pacts a little bit differently. I look at them as a wonderful thing to keep people off your ass in the early game and then violate them at will.
Yeah, I'm not that way. But
and people have attacked me for that very reason, because I've stated that publicly, that look, I'll sign an NEP with you. It just, don't be an idiot.
What percent of the time, I'm curious, Marlon, do you end up ending your nap, like saying I'm going to attack you in 3 turns? And then what percent
violating
versus violating?
About less than 10% I violate.
Okay, so naps with you still have meaning, but you're
absolutely.
If you think you need that edge,
an idiot. If I've signed a nap with you, and you are absolutely undefended,
Yeah.
then I might just vulture and take 10 of your provinces in a single turn and go, oops, sorry.
Yeah. Well, there is a thing. Sometimes it's annoying when you have a nap with the player. Like, let's say Bandar Log rides off to fight Jotunheim and takes all of his stuff, and all of his stuff dies. And now it's very clear that Jotunheim is going to kill him.
Absolutely.
And that's when you would want to not have a nap. Like, you want to just be like, yoink, 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 yoink. And, you know, it's a piece of paper, so you don't have to acknowledge it. I've never done that, but I have asked the player. What I have found is that situations, like if somebody is dead, like they're basically out of the game, I'll say, hey, like, I think you're basically out of the game now. I'm going to end my nap with you because I think I need to vulture, but if I would prefer if you just let me out of it immediately. And sometimes they'll do it. But if you don't do it, then they're going to be expecting your attack. But if they're naked, who cares?
Well, and I'll give credit to you for suggesting to me, and I think this is a major change in the meta. Nowadays, and you mentioned, I think it was Arco, was exceptionally good at ending naps and then getting concessions by simply ending and officially ending a nap.
Right.
And then getting people to say, oh, well, instead of, you know, let's not fight, I'll give you 2-3 provinces.
Right.
But on the other hand, violating an app is incredibly powerful if you have cloud trapeze or teleport or large numbers of remotes.
Yep.
And you could take his whole capital surround in a single turn, and then suddenly, you know, he's out of the game.
Yeah. But you get scribbled in somebody's little black book, and they'll be looking to knife you if you do that.
Of course, but you know what? All you have to be is a public figure, like you and I both, as you know, we've got a reputation, and you get ambushed by people anyways. So
I don't know. I don't really have. Most people do not break their naps with me. It's because I have a reputation for just relentlessly persecuting people who break naps with me.
Well, and that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Quite complex, but very cool.
Yeah. So I want to come back to the game. So Bandar Log planning on going on Jotunheim, but you and I don't see how that's going to work out.
Well, I just think Bandar has missed his chance. He had a very good chance about 3-4 turns ago. And this is a bit sad for Bandar because, to be honest, if I was a Bandar player and I had more than one fort, I'd be pumping out quite a lot of Marcata scouts.
Yeah.
And getting good intel because they're dirt cheap, super high stealth, and he could have known about this before it happened.
Yeah, that's true.
He's coming across as, oh my God, what happened? Well, you know, you missed your chance.
Do you remember, did Jotunheim build this fort, or was this a Mictlan fort?
I believe it was a Mictlan.
I think it was. Jotunheim really, the thing they did is they were anti-greed. Look at it. I think this is the only fort they built.
Yeah, totally.
They were the biggest player and they only built one fort. And the guys who are getting eaten are the people who built a ton of forts. I think there's a lesson to be learned here.
Jotun had a very... Well, look at... He still has indies he didn't take because he hasn't had to.
Oh, yeah. Well, this one is the Lava Borns, which is... You're going to have to pay a price. But it is a gold mine, which he could figure out because his dominion's here.
But he had a very efficient expansion.
He did.
Now, he had pretty big losses in fighting Mictlan, although not outrageous because his troop production is really quite high. But prior to that, during expansion, Jotun was very efficient. He had very, very, very small losses.
Yeah. And he's taken advantage of a lot of the forest recruit stuff, and has had very little attrition. You know, Naba could have done the same thing. Okay, so we're going to
talk about that before.
Yeah. Okay, so Xibalba doing some SimCity, unless stuff comes up going full infrastructure. Very snoozy stuff. Well, he says that as he's sitting on somebody's cap.
Yeah.
Very boring stuff.
he's played a good game.
He has.
I mean, this whole Toad expansion was quite unique to me, unexpected, and I'm quite impressed.
It felt like he had really good intuition for what he could get away with and what he couldn't too. You know, like...
Well, he did that push ahead, pull back, push ahead, pull back.
Yeah.
That's an initiative kind of thing. You know, you're throwing somebody off balance. Where is he going to attack? I can't tell.
I meant even with... So you're absolutely right on that, but I meant even with expansion. With expansion, a lot of times he would have 40 troops or something, and you and I were thinking, okay, well, he's probably going to expand. But he was like, well, you know, I'm probably going to need like 70. And he would get 70 more crappy little toads and throw them in there and then take it with, you know, reasonable attrition.
Quite good attrition.
Yeah.
And now he's sieging with a monstrosity of obsidian warriors.
And these are his sacreds, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Now he's played a good... before you move past, somebody tried to get the pond.
Oh, yes, this was him.
Oh, look at that.
There's a Hydromancer here. I'm wondering if it's summoned a water elemental. Oh, did Water Ward. I wonder if the Water Ward went off on these guys. Oh, it appears so. Water Ward's a good spell. Is that 5 defense bonus?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
They just can't hit him.
Hmm?
Without Water Ward, they would have won.
Yeah, normally those Krakens and sea trolls are garbage.
Yeah. It's funny because they look scary, but they're horrible.
Yeah. Well, no, they have a good use. They're great astral bait.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have to fight really high hit point regenerating dudes are excellent.
Yeah. Okay. A messenger has arrived from Naba. Getting a nice 3 for 1. It seems Pan seduced the players ahead, the players' heads, I'm not exactly sure what that means, of Ashdod and Agartha. I'm a little sad because I prepared many hours for this game, but against 3 this early, there's no chance. When their neighbors are busy with fighting or assigned naps, and there's no strategy you can prepare for this.
I don't really agree with his analysis here.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that.
We've talked about it. But it is interesting, because in his head, he's thinking there's nothing I could have done. When, like, you and I have been looking at, we're like, you made this decision, you made this decision, you made this, but some of it is in context. Like, if you're playing in a game, like if Bandar Log, if you had a game filled with Bandar Logs and Nabas, you would not ever get punished for being greedy, you know?
Not, no, but they're mid-game, late-game powers.
Yeah.
And
let's see if we can find them. Okay, here's what's...
Oh.
Okay. I was thinking... Okay, so last turn, I believe there was an army here. And I was thinking they were going to go here or go here.
That was your prediction, yes.
And they did not go either. They still. And it looks like they waited for reinforcements. And
the mace men, I think, are mercs.
Yeah, yeah. And these are mercs too. It looks like he got all the we got the archers. The macemen died, but he had those too.
He had them. They're dead.
Okay, we'll watch this because it's a fort going down. But this is this fort which, poor Naba, they worked so hard to finally get this thing built. And the second they get it built, dirty white centaur come running through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was kind of hopeless.
Yoink. It hurts. It hurts to watch. There's also a world, I just wonder how much it would have made a difference if he didn't lose this fort at the beginning. Like, maybe he would have actually started making troops rather than feeling like he had to spend more money on infrastructure.
I don't know, but...
Some rotten luck.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, losing that was a serious craptastic luck, but our argument since then has been he has not built the troops he needed.
Right. It's I think like a lot we keep saying greed like it's a bad thing, but like greed can be a really good thing. But you have to balance out greed you make in one place with power plays you make in another place. So like if you go full scales, which is like a greedy build, you have to balance that out by not doing like greedy unit builds, you know?
I think there's another thing. It depends a lot on your diplomacy. If you are very aggressive on your diplomacy, you lock down the borders, you've got neighbors who are unlikely to violate NAP, then that can work.
Yeah.
You know, you build up and you wait. We did that once.
Right.
Where we just kind of talked to everybody. That was a team game. We talked to everybody and we said, well, you know, we're harmless.
Right.
You know, we're not worth attacking.
Right. That game we were strong though. We were not. I don't think we were being super greedy. We had Titans.
Absolutely not.
We had Titans. We were making troops. I don't think I ever stopped troop production.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, you're absolutely right though that one of the ways you can make up for greed is by doing really good diplomacy, which is one of the things I was talking about with Bandar Log that he's normally very good at. Is he's normally getting, you know, nobody's worried about Bandar Log, you know, nobody's scared of them most of the time. It's usually kind of easy to get naps with other neighbors if they're worried about some other scary player. But you don't want to be looking like food either. So, and he's done that actually. Nobody's attacked him. Right, he's marching off to war with Jotunheim.
He's not in a bad position. It's just some of his arguments he's put in the messages to us are questionable.
Yeah. Okay. So we've covered now Naba, and I think we'll go in the column direction now. So Pangaea, well, not Pangaea. That's not a column. Uruk. He sent me a Discord message explaining kind of what he was thinking because I asked him. Because we haven't heard much from him.
We've been wondering, what is he planning?
So his thinking is a little bit similar to like it's a little bit of a greedy mindset in that he took greedy scales. So he's going for a scales build.
Totally.
We can see he has more troops than the other nations who have done kind of greedy things. Like he's got these guys and these guys. He lost this army to this throne the other turn. If he didn't lose that, he would have a bunch of dudes here too. So he has a greedy pretender build, and that he doesn't have a Titan, I don't think, yet. Doesn't have a monster. Doesn't have crazy scary sacreds. But he's got good scales. So I think what he said he's trying to do is he's big. He's like 18 provinces, which he's pretty happy with. And he doesn't want to overplay his hand. He doesn't want to get overextended and march off into a war he's not ready for. And this player is Nicknight, who is the guy who won my qualifier game.
Yeah, no, I know Nicknight.
Yeah.
That's not bad thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his forts. He's stuffing them with recruitment. Very solid. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Uruk is a nation that has pretty good point buffing and stuff, too. So if somebody comes to fight him and he has Alt 3, Alt 4 online, he's going to be able to do some cool stuff. Yeah. But I think he's walking an interesting line for being greedy, in that he's being greedy, but he's also making units. So he's not food. What happened there in that throne to his northwest? Was that just a probe?
This was a probe by Xibalba. But last turn, I think he lost a bunch of guys here. I think it was to this one. Wasn't that dude? Maybe it was one of these guys. I was going to say there was a lot of fire elementals.
Yeah, last turn we were...
This guy's diseased. Eventually, this hard guy's going to go away. Oh, was that Maryland?
Oh, just do you want to wait for that? I'd say no.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to wait for that.
And this got pinged by End, it looks like. Throne of Knowledge, and this is Iron Throne. Pretty good thrones, but not phenomenal. I mean, Iron Throne's good, but not for these nations. Both these nations already have Earth Astral access. Xibalba is who would love the Iron Throne. Okay, End. I don't think we got a message from End. And Satis pinged this, or did he get patrolled out? It looks like it got patrolled out. Ooh, Garden of Longevity. Oh, that's cool.
And the End took it.
Yeah, heals units. That's actually really nice for End, because End can have some problems with old age. I think some of their magi can be old. Let me double check. I think these guys right here are old, yeah. And these guys are great mages, but they're old. So now that he has this this Garden of Longevity, when his guys get diseased from old age, he can just bring them here and heal them. That's really nice. Okay, and Agartha. Oh, this is kind of cool. Barbarians versus Magma Children. I guess the Magma Children just kill things so fast that the fact that the Barbarians are really killy... Oh, and he's got the Earth Grip coming. Yeah, I mean, they get like one or... I like how he did that. That was really good. Did we lose you, Maryland? Are you on mute again?
Oh, goddamn. I did the mute.
Okay. But that was clean, wasn't it?
Oh, super clean. Super clean. Go back and view it again.
Okay.
So what you see is that he's got like 2 squares behind. He's hitting perfectly.
Yeah.
Excellent timing.
And the Earth Grips, I mean, that is beautiful. Or the Earth Melds.
Well, Magma Kids, they're tough to deal with.
Yeah.
You can do it, but it's rough.
That firepower, too. Yeeks. Yeah, these guys are strong. Are they already... Is this their buffed up form? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is really nice.
They're so stupid cheap. You get 3 for 2 gems, I think it is.
Yeah. I criminally underused them. I mean, I didn't use them at all the last time I played Agartha. I didn't know. I was like all on the statue train. I need to get on that Magma Child train.
Magma Kids are... Yeah.
Okay, so for Agartha...
They're also fairly mobile. If you go back to those Magma Kids, I think their map move is not bad.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah.
You can move twice sometimes with that.
Because so much of the rest of Agartha is so goddamn slow. You know, you telegraph everything you're doing.
Okay, so this is interesting. Looking at Agartha from a greed perspective, they've marched off and they've sent most of their stuff off to war. But you can see they're still producing a fair... Like, they still have a pretty good... Like, if End were going to attack them or something, you know, they have a nap, but there's still a fair amount of stuff at home.
Oh, Magma Kids, though, compensate for an awful lot of Agartha's weakness.
Yeah.
Because unless you have fire resist on your blast, and even then, I had an early game against Agartha where, you know, I tried to stop the Magma Kids, and I had 10 fire resist plus increased, you know, I did Marble Warriors and a bunch of other stuff. And even then, my attrition was painfully bad.
Yeah. You know, you're just taking so many dice rolls because it always hits. You're never going to get a defense negates, and it's an area of effect attack.
Exactly.
So a lot of those dice rolls just add up.
Well, they eat elites.
Yeah.
For cheap. Really cheap.
Okay. So Agartha's in it. Let's look at this position up here. So he was here last turn. It looks like he might have waited for some reinforcements or was maybe going to kill some counter raiding, which he did. Did not move out, was going to kind of size up Naba. And it's he pinged Naba's cap and saw it was just some decent amount of PD, but nothing completely crazy. I think it's 40. We can actually see. I don't need to speculate.
Yeah, but didn't we hear that Agartha got the dice roll on who gets the cap?
Yeah. Agartha was basically given the cap, but he's got to come in here and take it now.
But he's playing safe.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. I guess there's really no, he could go any of these places next turn. It looks like he might want to go on the cap, though, because it doesn't look like much is defending it. But I don't know. Like, this is a scary army. 50 Shard Guard. Okay. I guess we'll come over a row. Pelagia, nothing happening.
Yeah, see, this is interesting to me. What is Pelagia? What's his strategy? What's his goal? He's very passive.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, one thing Pelagia could try to do is try to figure out a way into all these lakes. But this one's obvious. This one he could maybe get. But I don't know. Honestly, Pelagia in a game like this, I think he's going to wait for a proper coalition against Pangaea or Jotunheim to get recruited into that. I think that's his play. And then hope the game goes late and that he can do a wish farm. I think he's hoping the game goes really late and he can do wish farming.
Okay. Well, maybe. I'm a little stumped on what his strategy is.
Yeah, I've played a lot of games, or not a lot. I've played a number of games with Arco, and I've never seen him play this passive.
I would have grabbed that farm to his north, locked it down, forted it up, and gone from there. I'd have pushed Sati.
Yeah.
That's who I would have pushed if I was him.
Yeah. It makes sense, but Satis also had a Titan, and I don't know. I mean, I hear you, but I'm just gonna say Arco is gonna have you and I don't know what his plan is, but he must have one.
We don't.
He plans very well. It's impossible he doesn't have a plan.
I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, you and me both.
It's not what I thought it would be. I really thought, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, I thought it would grab that farm right there.
Yeah.
And
make a
lock
beachhead
that down as a beachhead and then push from there.
Yeah.
And yet he took his amphibious troops and he pulled them out of that farm and he gave that to Satis. So was that a diplomatic agreement? I mean, Satis is not pushing at that forest.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
There's something going on there.
He's got a plan, though. He's got a plan. I think right now he's probably just waiting for some research timing and then going to run off to war. He's got 4 forts up, making mages.
Nice 4 forts. Research plan. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see. Satis, there's nothing to say, right?
Well, he's site searching his gem income. Go to the gem income.
Yeah.
Nice. Satis has very good gem income.
Oh, you know who's climbed up really fast? Look at the curve on this. Holy shit. Look at Vanarus.
Yeah.
You know what this means? There's only one thing in the game that will cause this, and this is remote site searching got turned on.
Oh, look at Bandar.
Oh yeah, Bandar's found some stuff.
And Jotun has fallen down a bit.
Yeah. Jotunheim's spending their money on military and research. I think right now they don't need a ton of gems. They're getting by with the gems they have, and they're putting their money into research into armies.
You can see on the research graph. Oh my God, look at Sidis.
Yeah. He's only going to be able to sustain this for so long, though, because Marshmasters have a very high upkeep.
It's the blue. Is that
That's Ulm. I think he's got his little Alquill factory turning on. Ulm is going to, like, race past the Tis. This is like an engine that's just starting to turn on right now.
Yeah.
Assuming that Ulm doesn't get knocked out or something.
Well, he's got the drain reduction.
Right.
Thingy.
Yeah. Yeah, Ulm's really good.
He went drain 3.
But this is where most of Jotun's army is going. This is a high quality, big ass army.
My God.
Pangaea's getting a lot. Okay, let's finish up the column. So we've done that column. We have not really done. Have we done Jotun Mictlan? I don't think so.
Well,
we haven't.
No. I mean, it's a siege, right?
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. He's continuing to raid. He's now raided so far south into Mictlan that he has the stuff that is on the border that would be like this could be a Bandar province.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. I mean, Bandar is a bit late to the party.
Yeah. Even if you were just talking with Mictlan, like Mictlan's goose was cooked a while ago, so he could have at least been in a position to vulture. And at this point, like I would say even like 3 turns ago, or maybe not 3, 2 turns ago, if I were Mictlan, I would have told Bandar he could vulture me.
Yeah, come on in, buddy.
Come on in. We're boned.
Stop Jotun.
Yeah.
It's a bit late for Bandar to join the party.
Yeah. But this is interesting now because this is a very high income province. And if I were Bandar, I wouldn't want Jotunheim to have all this stuff. So I can see why he's feeling like he needs to march off to war, because this is an enormous nation to his north now. And with some very valuable provinces that he could potentially take. But he's just not ready to do anything about it.
Where are we at now? I'd say we're top leaders are Pangaea and Jotun.
Yeah. I would say position 1 is Jotun. Position 2 is Pangaea, but with just knowing the player side, I would actually put him in position 1. But based on just the game state, I would say it's Jotunheim.
But Jotun has played a really good game.
Oh, yeah. It's
really
been super clean.
Very clean.
And maybe Xibalba's in the next spot, or maybe Van. I think these guys are kind of tied right now.
Yeah. Van's problem is he's a bit on the fragile side in that, he's open for raiding. Counter raiding could really hurt Van.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got a response to counter raiding.
Yeah, I mean, he can have thugs of his own and stuff. He's going to be having, it's a little hard to outraid Vanheim. That's one of the strong suits is raiding. But if like a bunch of Anakites roll up with the super combatants in them, that will be hard for them to deal with.
I'm just comparing to Jotun, who has huge piles of relatively cheap, effective troops.
Yeah. Well, Vanheim is very low on the army graph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anybody who can counter Vans has a chance.
I want to see the income graph. Oh. Yeah, this basically is my feeling. I think income in many ways, often, not always, but a lot of times income is how I think probably the most important graph for position. You could argue gym income is too, but I think this is lying. Like if you said these guys are the top 3 for like position, that's a lie right now. Income at the, especially at the beginning of the game, income is the best indicator of position, I think. Because income ultimately is going to drive your early game research mostly.
Exactly.
Okay. And then, have we done everybody? Ashdod, they've got an army over here. I don't think there's too much left to talk about.
Ashdod didn't do much.
No,
I mean, he's got a couple of sieges.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't think there's anything fancy happening here either. I guess I wonder if there's like an Earth Sage. What's an Astral Sage? That's kind of weird. Oh, he's got a punchy man. That guy's actually a little scary.
Yeah, but that's probably just a random event.
Yeah. But dude, you don't want to get in a fist fight with this guy. Oh my god, 4 attacks, 30 damage.
Yeah, but that guy's blessing.
Yeah. You know what this would be good against, like air elementals?
That is a lot of Anakites in one army.
Yeah.
He's concentrated.
Yeah, he's just basically deathballed over here. Most of them got blessed, but yeah, about 2/3 of them. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I think we've covered this this turn. You have anything? What are your closing thoughts, Maryland? I think you hit mute.
Thoughts?
Oh no.
No. I'm just pausing to think. I think Bandar is in the worst situation of the
Not dead yet.
Still viable nations.
Yeah.
We've got Pan is in a dominant position. Pelagia, I don't know what his game is.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. Jotun is in a superb situation.
Yeah. What do you think are the big wild cards? Like what would shake this game up right now?
Well, I think Bandar has a chance to shake this game up.
Yeah.
But he has to pull it together. He has to make some white ones. He has to make some tigers. He's got the potential for massive research.
Right.
Astral spam coming out momentarily. He could be communioning right now.
Yeah. But I mean, then he's not gonna have any research, but yeah.
Well, it's a mixed bag, right?
Yeah. I think what you do, so he's gonna go, okay, let me rephrase it. He's about to go off to war with Jotunheim. What are the things you think he needs?
Well, I think that's an error. I think he doesn't want to go to war with Jotun.
Yeah, I don't think he can fight what Jotunheim's got over here. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think that's viable. I think he would be better off right now to hold back and build infrastructure.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's kind of already committed to this. So like going to war when he's not ready is not a good idea. But it may even come to him. I mean, who knows? I doubt Jotunheim's going to keep on attacking, but maybe he does. The other thing I think for these guys to think about is like for Scrotty, because we're getting close to the point where Scrotty are coming out. Turn 16 is like beginning of Scrotty phase. By turn 20, it's going to be like Scrotty are coming out. And Bandar Log's pretty well set up to deal with him if he has like little mind burn communions, which is I started thinking about that when you said communion, but
many communions are extremely viable.
Yeah.
One guru and 4 yogis can trash elites.
Yeah.
But what I'm really curious about is what Pelagia is going to do.
Yeah. Pelagia is pretty well set up. They're another wild card. That would be an interesting thing. If Vanarus and Bandar could recruit Pelagia, that would be pretty good. And they could maybe give Pelagia some of this middle ground, which would maybe give them access to this lake later. Just let them carve in here. Vanarus carves in here. Bandar Log, I don't think is set up to fight, but if they were, they would get the Mictlan stuff.
Well, my thing with Pelagia is a submarine nation, right?
Yeah.
They can ambush kind of wherever they want. I mean, look at that lovely farm there, right by his fort. That one.
Yeah.
He could raid that, grab 2 turns of income, raids a Tis.
Yeah.
Can't raid the one that's Pan because he let Pan build a fort there.
Well, you know what we didn't talk about? Vanarus attacked Jotunheim. I think I waved my flag around it, but we didn't look. It's a Jade Amazon province, so something Vanarus probably wants. They do have the nature water cross path, but he's got a Vanabog, very expensive mage. Some Oathbound, they all got blessed. Most of them did. Yeah, I think the thing...
We haven't really talked about Vanarus.
Yeah.
That's something we didn't talk about this turn. What is he really going to do?
Well, it looks like he's going to go try to fight Jotunheim. Well, presumably Jotunheim has all his stuff down here in Mictlan. He's like, I'll just come in through the back door. Thing is Jotunheim has mages. He's got Gaija here. He's got a fair number of herdmen. He's making stuff out of his cap. I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't see anything that Vanarus has brought that makes me think this is going to be super successful. And when you're fighting a big nation, they have more resources to do PD dumps. That's another thing. And they're also going to need a way to deal with, very early, especially like in a lower skill game, it's not going to happen much, but in a high skill game, Scrotty come online in a fierce way. You get them fluffed with body ethereal and moss body and protection and personal regen. And these things can all happen very early. And you put any kind of armor on them, anything. And all of a sudden, they are just, they're immune to normal troops. And it doesn't matter what kind of troops they are. They're just immune to normal troops. So I think when you attack Jotunheim, they might be fine for now. But by turn 25, definitely, they have to have answers to Scrotty and to Turbo Communions. Because that's another thing. You attack Jotunheim on a flank. This is where his researchers are. He could set up a Skelly Spam Communion. And I don't know what his research is. He probably doesn't have that quite yet. But these are things these players are going to have answers to successfully attack them. Mind Burn, very good for all those things. Because Mind Burn will not target skeletons. It will only kill the mages. Same with Soul Slay. And it's going to be very good against Scrotty, because Scrotty have horribly low magic resistance. Okay, so anyway, I think that's it. I think you might have gone on mute again, Maryland. But no.
I just didn't have a response to what you said.
Okay.
I think Jotun is in a dominant position.
Yeah.
He and Pan are in the dominant position.
Okay, there's something else we have to talk about. This just occurred to me, but one of the things that happens when you get big early and people get scared of you, this happens to me all the time, is you start getting big and people freak out and attack you. And it's like they're flailing into you, right? And you're like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I have stuff to defend myself. I didn't just march off to war and have nothing to defend myself at home, right? And then you killed the stuff that they send at you. And then you're like, well, I guess I'm going to have to kill you too. I think a major risk is if everybody's freaking out about Jotunheim, they attack him and he starts attacking into them, spreading his lines even shorter. He could get knifed by like Pangaea or Xibalba. Because it's like, you get into a position where once you're big and people start being scared of you, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because even if they're wrong, even if they're not successful attacking you, like, because you're scary. Okay, it can go two ways. So people are scared of you. Either they attack you and they're successful, and then you're not big and scary anymore, like you lose. So that sucks. Or you
You
were
just
big and
sort of-
scary, they attack you, you repel them and start invading them, and everybody else is like, oh my god, they're big and scary. And then everybody knifes you.
Well, of course. But that's, just kind of a done deal. But Jotun, as you said, has great, cheap counters to raiders.
Yeah. But I think the big risk for them is that they get more people attacking them than just Vanarus and Bandar Log. If Pangaea comes after them, they're in trouble. And if Xibalba comes after them, they might be in trouble.
Well, it's very busy right now.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's the end of the episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And thank you, Marilyn, for joining me.
Guys, you bet.
All right. See you.